The one thing that universally, I think anybody who's in the chat, anybody who follows our channel, and again, we have a very healthy mix. We've got people
Yes.
all the way to the right, all the way to the left, and everything in between.
Yes.
The one thing that I think most people agree on right now is that elections really don't matter when you get right down to it if collective organizing is not involved. You can elect whoever you want, but if there isn't this aggressive movement towards the people taking back their country, as Thomas Jefferson always said was going to be whether or not this republic would survive. This is a great example of a story that we are going to get into that obviously would really like to have your opinion on. So our understanding now is that according to Democracy Now!, Microsoft, Bill Gates is, well, I don't know if he still has anything to say about it, but I think without question, one of the most powerful multinational corporations in the world has apparently pulled back their investment with Israel. And again, what was that?
Sorry. No, I meant to hit scroll down and I hit it by mistake.
The only way we will stop our organizing is once all of our demands are met completely. So hold on. Microsoft says it has barred the Israeli military from using the company's services to spy on Palestinian civilian phone calls and store their data in Microsoft's vast Azure cloud computing platform. It's an unprecedented victory for No Azure for Apartheid. A group of current and former Microsoft workers demanding an end to Microsoft's work with the Israeli military. We spoke to Hassan Nasser, an organizer with No Azure for Apartheid and a former Microsoft employee. Nasser was fired last October after organizing a vigil outside the Microsoft headquarters for Palestinians killed by Israeli military in Gaza. Colin, if you would. No, you're fine. Yep. The clawback a sense of normalcy, of morality from these tech companies is vindicating to the organizing that we're doing and is a testament that we do not have to resign to the status quo. We do not have to resign to those people in power. We stand in solidarity with those workers in Amazon and all workers of conscience who are fighting in their workplace to ensure that they are not being used as cogs in the Israeli genocide war machine. So it appears that you fire somebody and then you essentially create a monster out of it. That's what it looks like on the surface. Thoughts?
Yeah, I'll say that that interview on Democracy Now! Is well worth listening to. Both parts. They did a second part with it, and I think there's we get caught up a lot in this idea of success or victories or having some type of metric when that's not why we're doing this. I mean, you guys have been doing this for a long time. I've been in the anti-war movement now for 16 years or whatever it is. If it was about getting wins, if it was about having success, right, then we do this because it's the right thing to do, right? We do this because the alternative is to be on your knees to these people, right? Yeah. So I think that's the first thing we because there's a lot of with this, as far as I understand, with this victory, in an interview, he explains, this is actually kind of minor. It's not that big a deal. It's only one segment of the Israeli. It's with Unit 8200, their version of the NSA, so it is a big deal. But there's a lot of other avenues that Microsoft is working with the Israeli Defense Forces, Israeli security forces, the Israeli government. But, it's this idea that it's resistance for the sake of resistance, that it's these guys do what they did with Microsoft was for the right because it was the right thing to do, not because they thought they would be successful, right? I mean, we don't want to be successful, but we have to keep that in mind. We do this as, generations going back eons have done similar things. So, I mean, that's what I take away from it.
This is news to me. So, I wasn't really familiar with this whole story.
Well, it does seem like a pretty big one, if you ask me. And
yeah,
look,
it's a success. I don't want to say that. I just, in the sense of that, how we organize and why we do it. I think we have to keep that always in the forefront of how we talk, is that we do this because it's the right thing to do, because people are counting on us. I mean, I heard this, we still have our rallies here in Raleigh, North Carolina for Gaza. Have they done anything? No, they haven't done anything. But we do it because the resistance in Gaza asks us to, right? And there's no other reason to do it than that, right? I mean, so we do what we can. You guys do your show, you do your organizing, you inform, you educate, right? You do it for no other reason because it's the right thing to do, not for yourselves, but for others.
I couldn't agree more. Our channel blew up in the last few months because we were just kind of relentless about that. We've been relentless about it.
Our 5-year anniversary is coming up.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. And like I said, when you used to come on, it's been a little while since you've been on, but we just had a channel where we were doing this as a mission. The fact that we grew it without cutting corners, without just, trying to, catch whatever was the gossip topic of the day. Everything has always been framed for us more or less through the lens of Israel-Palestine and how this is the defining issue of our time. It's all interconnected in so many respects, and how we are able to make it so that we can have some type of an impact. I've said before, I'll say it again. I am of the mind that it is going to be very difficult for us to save the Palestinian people.
I'm with you, Peter. I'm with you. Absolutely. I mean, and our focus, of course, is on Gaza because the genocide is occurring there. But our focus in terms of planning, preparation, really needs to shift to the West Bank, because Gaza, God help me for saying this, may be gone, right? But the West Bank still has a chance. And so that's because the Israelis are going to do in the West Bank as they did in Gaza. It'll look different, but it'll be more or less the same goals, right? The same, I think, and they've said this, they eventually want to destroy Palestinian life outside of 5 or 6 cities, force everybody into those cities, and then let those cities die on the vine, and that's how the ethnic cleansing and the genocide will look like in the West Bank. And we have time to help the Palestinians in their resistance in a way that we can't with the people in Gaza right now. And I don't want to say Gaza's gone like that. That sounds terrible. But like, I think people know what I mean here in terms of what we can affect, what we can make a difference in, how we can be involved. And the work you're doing, it is, when you're talking, it reminded me of when I was in Afghanistan. We had a big operation and brought in the commando, the Delta and the SEALs were going to come in. This was going to be a big operation, a big brigade-wide operation in Northeast Afghanistan. And at the top of the list of the guys that were going to get the Taliban and their allies that were going to be taken out on the first night in the first initial wave of raids were their, what we call information operations people, right? They're public relations people, they're propagandists, they're news people. That's who we were going to take out first. Not their bomb makers, not their financiers, but the most important thing for us to hit first was the people who did their communications. That's how important what you guys are doing is, right? And that's why what we've seen is, besides in the last 8 months of this regime here, of course, going after our Latino brothers and sisters. But what's the other focus been? It's been on speech, right? It's been trying to prep a way to shut all these things down. We just saw the TikTok purchase, sale, or whatever the heck that thing was. I mean, what do you think is going to happen on TikTok? And
I think everyone needs to leave TikTok. That's what I think.
And hopefully there's some smart guy or gal or group of folks wherever, in China, in Korea, in in Kenya,
we know it won't be here,
wherever, who's going to meet, who are going to make the next TikTok, because there will be a next TikTok, you know, it's right. I mean, so, but we see how fearful they are of these things. The fact that they, you know, went to those lengths with TikTok, just use that example, to shut it down because it had such an effect on their control of the narrative. And we know this because they've said it. Whether it's the head of the ADL has said it, you had that conversation between Mitt Romney and Tony Blinken about a year and a half ago where they said it. We're shutting TikTok down because we can't control the narrative on it, right? I mean, like you see the importance of what you guys are doing, and it's merging at this time. The fact that we have this technology now. I mean, 5 years ago to do this, it wasn't always that great, right? To do a live thing like this 5 years ago, it really, 10 years ago, nah, forget it. Right. I mean, like you taped everything. 15 years ago. Now we were talking, I was calling you on a landline, you know, even 10 years ago, we were dialing in on landlines, you know, to do shows, you know, because but we're at this point now where the technology has just gotten us to a place where your ability to have this influence, again, to educate, to inform, to coordinate is substantial, and it's significant, and it scares the hell out of them.
Yes.
Right. It scares the hell out of them. So yeah, I mean, the fact that you guys are doing well, I'm not surprised because I love you guys. You guys are terrific, but it also comes at the right time. And you guys are saying stuff that people are recognizing, and that's that they're connecting with. You know, you guys haven't said, I don't think you guys have said anything different in the last 5 years, right?
No, I've just gotten further to the left where I think I fell off on the other side.